Welcome back to Throttle Tribe. Some bikes seem like a bargain until they drain your wallet. In 2025, dealerships are packed with machines no one wants, even after huge discounts. Today, we're counting down 10 motorcycles that flop so badly they become financial traps. One of them might be on your wish list. At number 1, the BMW R18, the chrome brick that refuses to leave. On paper, it was BMW's bold entrance into the cruiser world. Big chrome, big boxer, big nostalgia. But in reality, the R18 has become one of the slowest moving lumps of luxury metal on dealership floors. At nearly 900 pounds, the R18 is heavier than your confidence during your first U-turn. And the worst part? It's not even functional weight. Riders complain it's a nightmare in stop-and-go traffic, uncomfortable on long rides, and handles like a fridge on wheels. Add in the $16,500 plus price tag for a new one in 2025, and you've got a cruiser that nobody wants to wrestle with or pay for. BMW hoped the heritage vibe would win over Harley fans. But Harley fans didn't flinch, and younger riders just said, nah, we're good. Tech-wise, it's stuck in neutral. A tiny LCD wedged between analog gauges and a basic electronic suite make it feel more like a throwback in the worst way. Resale values are now falling like a dropped helmet. Some owners can't even get $9,000 for bikes with under 3,000 miles. Here's the deal. If you see an R18 with a blowout price tag, remember, it's not a deal. It's a dealership's escape plan. If you thought that was overpriced junk, this next one takes it to a whole new level. At number 2, the Ducati Monster 937, Italian drama, zero loyalty. This was supposed to be Ducati's stripped-down, rider-friendly naked sport bike. It had the name, the looks, and the specs. But now, dealers can't get rid of them fast enough. When the Monster 937 launched, people were hyped. Until they saw the $12,500 plus price tag and realized the competition was offering more for less. The Yamaha MT-09 costs about $10,500 in 2025, makes more torque, and doesn't demand a $900 valve check every 7,500 miles. That's not a joke. Ducati maintenance is like dating someone high maintenance. You'll spend half your time waiting and the other half paying. But it's not just about the price. Owners reported weird electronic gremlins, finicky quickshifters, and twitchy fueling at low speeds. Forums are flooded with "my monsters in the shop again" threads. Not exactly the Ducati lifestyle people signed up for. Resale? Brutal. Riders who bought in 2022 are now offloading them for $8,500 or less, often with barely any miles on the clock. That's a massive hit, and buyers are starting to notice. Here's the tip. If you want Italian flair without the therapy bills, look elsewhere. The Monster name still has weight, but the market's made it clear. This model didn't deliver. Subscribe now, or risk buying a bike even the dealer secretly wants to return. Next up, a cruiser that looks badass but rides like a tax burden. At number 3, the Suzuki Boulevard M109R, muscle cruiser or a museum exhibit. There was a time when the M109R turned heads. Big engine, big tire, big attitude. It was Suzuki's mic drop in the muscle cruiser world. But here in 2025, it's more of a big regret than a big performer. The 1,783cc V-twin still looks like a brute on paper, but the rest of the bike hasn't kept up. No ride modes, no traction control, no digital dash, not even a fuel gauge that makes sense. It's stuck in 2006 while the motorcycle world has moved on hard. Riders say the M109R feels like it was designed to impress in a showroom and punish on the street. It's heavy, clunky in corners, and guzzles gas like it's angry about the future. Getting around 30 mpg on a good day? Yikes. Dealers can't give them away. Some are offering over $3,500 off MSRP just to clear floor space. Used listings are hovering below $7,500, and many are still sitting unsold for months. Worse, it's expensive to insure due to its engine size and poor safety features, and it doesn't hold its resale value. Riders who bought new are now losing thousands just to make it someone else's problem. The M109R might look tough, but under all that chrome, it's an outdated, overpriced fuel hog that's been left behind by more modern muscle machines. Now let's shift gears to a bike that was supposed to blend old-school cool with modern class, but forgot to actually evolve along the way. Before we dive into that, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more unbeatable motorcycle deals. At number 4, the Honda Shadow Phantom, ghosted by modern riders. The name Phantom couldn't be more fitting because this bike has practically vanished from relevance. The Honda Shadow Phantom was once the go-to for riders chasing that bobber style on a budget. It boasted a slick blacked-out look, a bulletproof 745cc V-twin, and a low seat. Perfect for newer riders. But here's the catch. Nothing has really changed since 2010. And by 2025, that's a serious problem. No digital dash, no ride modes, not even standard ABS on earlier models. It's the equivalent of buying a flip phone in the iPhone era. Cheap, sure, but way behind. Add in a modest 44 horsepower output and a basic 5-speed transmission, and you've got a bike that's more show than go. And it's not just about specs. Riders report the suspension feels harsh, the ergonomics are stiff for longer rides, and the resale value has basically evaporated. You'll see low-mileage Shadows listed for as low as $3,000 to $3,500, and they're still gathering digital dust on marketplaces. Even loyal Honda fans are jumping ship to more tech-savvy options like the Rebel 500, which offers better performance, updated features, and a far more engaging ride. If you want a cruiser that looks cool and sips gas, there are better options out there. The Shadow Phantom. It's a shadow of what new riders are really looking for today. Coming up, a Harley that was supposed to redefine the brand, but ended up redefining buyer's remorse. At number 5, the Indian Scout 60, entry-level icon or depreciation disaster. When Indian launched the Scout 60, it seemed like the perfect gateway into their lineup. Same classic styling as the full-fat Scout, a slightly smaller engine and a lower price tag. On the surface it looked like a win. But underneath, this bike started showing cracks fast. The Scout 60 lacks key features modern buyers expect. No ride modes, no traction control, basic ABS, if equipped at all, and a gauge cluster that hasn't changed since the Obama administration. It's built for beginners, but priced just high enough to make you consider literally anything else. And what hurts the most? Resale. The Scout 60 tanks hard. Riders who paid around $11,500 new are now struggling to get $4,500 to $5,000 on resale, even with tasteful mods and low miles. That's not just depreciation. That's daylight robbery with paperwork. Plus, parts aren't cheap. You're locked into Indian dealerships for basic maintenance, and most local mechanics won't touch it without charging you Harley prices. As for the riding experience, it's fine. But in 2025, fine isn't good enough. Especially when the same money can get you a Honda Rebel 1100, a Yamaha MT-07, or even some used Triumphs with way more value baked in. So, if you're thinking about grabbing a Scout 60 on clearance, look twice. That deal might just be the start of a slow, expensive relationship. At number 6, the Harley-Davidson Sportster S, a future tech retro flop. Harley hyped this bike as their bold reinvention, the liquid-cooled Revolution Max engine, modern tech aimed squarely at younger riders. But the Sportster S didn't land like a revolution. It face-planted like a midlife crisis on 2 wheels. Yes, it packs power, 121 horsepower, adjustable ride modes, a full digital display, all the goodies. But it also comes with a hefty price tag, nearly $17,000 new in 2025. Add to that a stiff ride and an awkward riding position that makes your knees feel like they're auditioning for Cirque du Soleil. Early adopters were excited. Then reality set in. It's not comfortable for long rides, not nimble enough for city commuting, and not classic enough to satisfy Harley traditionalists. It's stuck in an awkward identity crisis, and the market noticed. Resale values have plummeted. You'll now find barely used models listed for under $12,500, with owners practically begging for buyers. Forums are filled with regret posts from riders who expected a reborn legend but got a muscle scooter with a Harley badge. Even dealers are slashing prices by as much as $3,500 just to clear them out. The Sportster S tried to do too much, too fast, and ended up pleasing almost no one. How many of these motorcycles have you owned, or almost bought? Let us know in the comments. We won't judge. Probably. At number 7, the Kawasaki Vulcan S, the beginner cruiser that time forgot. The Vulcan S had all the right ingredients when it launched. A mid-sized 649cc parallel twin engine, adjustable ergonomics, and a low seat height. It was built to welcome new riders into cruiser life without scaring them or breaking the bank. But here's the reality. It hasn't evolved since 2015, and it shows. In 2025, the Vulcan S is basically a time capsule. The same analog gauge, the same basic suspension, and the same awkward styling that makes it look like a cruiser pretending to be a naked bike. No TFT display, no cornering ABS, no ride modes, Just you and a dash that feels straight out of the early 2000s. Riders say the engine is peppy, but lacks character, and the handling is just average. It's great for your first 5,000 miles, and then you start craving something better. Resale? Rough. Used Vulcans flood the market for under $4,500, and many sit unsold for months. Dealers are now offering $1,500 or more in markdowns just to clear out new inventory, and even that hasn't sparked much interest. The sad part? It's not a bad bike, it's just boring now. And boring doesn't sell in a market where even beginner bikes come with cruise control, Bluetooth, and full-color TFT displays. At number 8, the Triumph Bonneville Bobber, too cool to be practical. The Bobber was Triumph's attempt to bottle vintage cool and sell it as a daily rider. And for a while it worked. It looked killer solo seat, hardtail style rear, minimalist cockpit, but now, it's a style over substance cautionary tale. At over 500 pounds, it's much heavier than it looks, with a riding position that turns long trips into a yoga class. The Bobber just isn't built for versatility. You get zero storage, limited fuel range, and no ability to carry a passenger unless you invest in aftermarket mods. Tech-wise, it's underwhelming for its price. A basic analog display and a stripped-down electronic suite make it feel more like retro inconvenience than retro charm. No ride modes, no cornering ABS, no cruise control, just vibes, and a hope that your back doesn't give out. Early owners praised its design, but many have since jumped ship. The market is now flooded with used bobbers listed around $7,000 to $8,500, and they're barely getting any bites. You're basically paying for a piece of garage art. A really expensive, hard-to-flip piece of garage art. And when even Triumph loyalists start saying it looks cool, but I wouldn't ride it every day, Resale is in trouble. At number 9, the KTM 1290 Super Duke GT, Sport Touring or Stress Touring. This machine should have been unstoppable. A 175 horsepower V-twin engine, semi-active suspension, and tech loaded to the max. On paper, the KTM 1290 Super Duke GT looked like the dream machine for anyone who wanted to crush miles with supermoto energy. But in practice, it's been more headache than highlight reel. The GT's biggest issue? Reliability. Riders across forums still report electrical glitches, overheating, faulty fuel sensors, and phantom check engine lights. Sure, it's fast, no doubt, but speed doesn't matter when your dash lights up like a Christmas tree mid-corner. When it launched, the sticker price hovered around $20,000. In 2025, used models from just a couple of years ago are commonly listed for $8,000 to $9,000 and still struggle to sell. That's a 55 to 60% value loss, not just depreciation, but market rejection. The problem wasn't just price, it was competition. For several $1,000s less, you could get a Yamaha Tracer 9 GT Plus or a Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX, both offering comparable tech, better reliability, and far fewer mechanical dramas. Then there's the maintenance brutal. European parts pricing plus specialized servicing equals quick wallet pain, valve checks, coolant flushes, random part replacements. They all add up fast, often outpacing even your insurance premium. KTM tried to build the ultimate do-it-all sport tourer. What they created was a high-performance diva that demands cash, patience, and probably a backup ride. At number 10, the BMW G310 GS, adventure styling on a budget build. At first glance, the G310 GS seems like a no-brainer small displacement ADV styling, low seat height, lightweight, and backed by the BMW badge. But once owners started riding it, that shiny baby GS appeal wore off fast. The bike's biggest issue is build quality. It's assembled in India by TVS for BMW. While that's not inherently bad, riders report inconsistent fit and finish, fragile plastics, loose bolts, and electrical hiccups right out of the crate. Not a great look when your badge screams premium. Performance-wise, the 313cc single-cylinder engine feels underpowered even for its class. It's buzzy at highway speeds, struggles to overtake confidently, and doesn't offer much comfort on long rides. Suspension travel and ground clearance hint at off-road potential, but most riders say it's too underbuilt for real trails and too underpowered for serious highway touring. So, who exactly is this bike for? To make matters worse, the G310 GS launched with a price tag dangerously close to more capable bikes like the Kawasaki Versys X300 or even a used Honda CRF 300L Rally. In 2025, used G310 GS models hover around $4,500, often sitting unsold. Riders expecting baby GS performance ended up with baby frustrations. It may wear BMW's badge, but it doesn't carry the experience or value that brand is known for. These are the 10 motorcycles that are now worthless. Avoid them. Did we miss a bike that deserves to be on this list? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more motorcycle content, and as always, ride safe. See you in the next one.